for my 9 to 5ers who are out there listening to us, they're also worried about their own income.
Yes.
How much tax will they have to face on their income from January 1st?
Okay, and that's a very good question. For the working class, 9 to 5, the taxes will be dependent on their income. The taxes will be dependent on their income. But a few things I would say is that if you are earning something within the range of 20 million and below, you would expect your taxes to drop and your disposable income to increase. If on the other hand you are earning from 20 million and above, it would be the opposite. You would expect to pay a little more in taxes, right? And that's where they would probably need to reach out to their human resource to probably do some compensation reward structuring, right? To compensate them in such a way that they were not worse, they won't be worse off, okay, compared to the old regime. Yeah, so they would face that. Then the next thing that the employee needs to do when he is filing tax returns is to then declare, are there any other side hustles, any other additional income he has earned from somewhere, right? You need to declare it. Then you would now go and pay the additional tax on those income. Maybe someone gave you an honorarium, right? Or you helped carry out a service for someone and you got paid for that service, right? That economic activity. You declare all those things and you go and pay the applicable tax. So if you forget such things, your bank account never forgets. Don't forget, everything has to do with data. But one other thing I must say is that there is something called a consolidated relief allowance, which we had under the current which we have under the current regime. So let me just say 21% of your gross income is what is called the the consolidated relief allowance. You would no longer have that under the new tax regime. You would simply have what is called a rent relief allowance. That rent relief allowance gives you the lower of 500,000 naira or 20% of your rental income, right? And for you to claim it, you need to show evidence that you actually pay rent. It might not be much. It might not be much, but
there's a lot. So you're saying we can get 20% cash back on our
the
rent?
lower the relief allowance you get in arriving at your taxable income before you apply the tax rate for an individual. The relief allowance you get is going to be the lower of 500,000 naira or 20% of your rent.
500 naira per annum or per month?
Per annum.
Per annum.
Per annum.
Just 500.
Just 500,000 naira. So definitely 500,000 naira. If you are getting a home in Lagos, 500,000 naira would definitely be the lower of the two.
But how do we start making claims on this? Should we be sending our rent to our HR?
Correct. Very correct.
Oh, really?
Very
We
correct.
should be sending rent
So
to
you will
HR.
need to provide your HR with evidence of payment of rent, right? And if you think about it, we said the government is currently trying to expand those paying taxes, right? Expand the tax net. So it's also a way of bringing your landlords into the tax net. So once you submit that to the State Internal Revenue Service, they can approach your landlord and say, oh, we understand you're receiving rental income of so amount. We see that you don't even have a tax identification number. Do you care to explain what is going on, or how come you are not compliant? Those sorts of things. Yeah.
So what if our landlord doesn't give us receipts now?
That's a very interesting one. So it's something you would have to work out with your landlord, because you then want to ask yourself, what's the risk if your landlord doesn't want to be exposed, right? If your landlord doesn't want to be exposed, I'm just saying this. Maybe your landlord probably wants to consider giving you some bonus, some incentive by reducing your rent, right?
The landlord have his own chapter 8.
Exactly. The landlord is probably created his own chapter 8, right? So that's one thing that would happen to the income of the 9 to 5ers. Then also we've mentioned that most of the basics, right? So I've told you about the items, essential items that we have from a VAT perspective. Things like basic food items, things like education, things like medical services, medical products, those things that help to enhance the human development, those things are now being zero rated. Zero rated means that the supplier of those things can get a claim back from government for any input VAT they incurred in making those services or goods available to consumers, the 9 to 5ers, right? So the expectation is that these things I've mentioned, the education, the health, the food, the prices of those things are expected to come down because the supplier doesn't need to put the input VAT cost as part of the final price you pay for those things. The government, you can get a refund from the government. So that helps to address the concerns of the inflation in these essential items also.
Okay, so again, just to use an illustrative example to break it down for our audience. So can you take us through that manufacturer to wholesaler to final
Oh,
consumer in
okay.
that same way?
So I would use a school, for instance. You are a 9 to 5er, you send your child to school, and previously, if your school fees was 20, it can be 20,000 in these current times. Okay, let's just say if the school fees of your child was 100,000 naira, right?
Okay.
If there are some items that the schools are purchasing, let's say computer equipment, let's say because most schools go into they teach computer knowledge. If they purchase furnitures, if they purchase any other thing to just aid learning, those things they purchase, they would be able to get a refund for the input VAT of those items they purchase. And if those things are significant, materially significant, they will discover that their costs, those schools will discover that their costs next year would be cheaper. If their cost next year is cheaper, it would only make sense that they should kind of share that benefit to even those who are sending their awards to those schools, okay? Same goes for medical services, right? The cost will be cheaper because all these items that you incur, if they contain VAT, you will be able to get that VAT back, so your cost would drop as a provider of these services.
Can they also make claims on assets that they bought before December 31st?
No. So the way it's meant to work, because this new law, the Nigeria Tax Act, takes effect on the 1st of January 2026. So it would only apply to any item you purchase from 1st of January 2026. If there are items that were purchased prior to 1st of January 2026, they would actually be recognized under the old regime, right? Which doesn't allow for such things, yeah. And that's where receipts, evidence gathering, documentation, records are very important.
It looks like all of us are going to have big shelves now.
Well, thankfully, we have lots of software providers that allow for cloud storage, right? So we have to become tech savvy and begin to make use of such things for efficiency purposes. And the good thing is that, given the fact that it's on a cloud, even if you have a computer, a desktop computer at home, you can connect it with your phone on the online, right, and keep all those data.
So the taxman is happy now to look at digital forms of receipt.
Exactly.
Okay.